Hi, welcome to Snippets, Bits and Bobs, a weekly themed eclectic collection of soft-spoken readings of excerpts, quotes, poetry, and lyrics to relax, inspire, or evoke a memory or two, perhaps to bring a smile or make you laugh. So, I hope you'll be as excited as I am each week to share new themes. The theme this week is about Independence Days. I wonder, what's that about? Well, stay tuned. Attaining independence is one of the most important milestones in the history of a territory or a country. Although it is not clearly highlighted in international law, a country effectively becomes a sovereign state when the United Nations recognizes its independence. A territory can either declare independence or be granted the same by another territory that has been exercising sovereignty over it. Most independent countries celebrate their Independence Day annually as a commemoration of their independence. The day is considered a national holiday in many countries. Here are a few. Independence Days in July. July 1st, Canada, Rwanda, Somalia, Hong Kong, Burundi. July 4th, the United States. July 5th, Algeria. And July 9th, South Sudan. United States Independence Day was July 4th. In the next upload, I'll highlight France's independence on July 14th, so look out for it. America the Beautiful is an American patriotic song. The lyrics were written by Catherine Lee Bates in 1893, but revised in 1904. And the melody was composed later by church organist and choir master Samuel A. Ward at Grace Episcopal Church in Newark, New Jersey. The two people never met. O beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. O beautiful for pilgrim feet, whose stern impassioned stress a thoroughfare for freedom beat across the wilderness. America, America, God mend thine every flaw, confirm thy soul in self-control, thy liberty in law. O beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, and every gain divine. O beautiful for patriot dream that sees beyond the years, thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. You know, after America the Beautiful, I'm just thinking about Independence Day meals and picnics. So, I'm hungry. What to eat? What to eat? What to eat on Independence Day? I feel like something sweet. Oh, I know. How about having real American apple pie? Homemade, of course. Sounds good to me. From the first American cookbook called The American Cookery in 1796, the recipe for a buttered apple pie was simply this: pare, P-A-R-E, quarter and core tart apples, lay in paste number 3, cover with the same, bake half an hour. When drawn, gently raise the top crust, add sugar, butter, orange peel, and a sufficient quantity of rose water. That's it. That was it. Well, I don't know about you and how such little detail makes a fabulous pie, so I'll try a contemporary recipe for apple pie. In a medium-sized bowl, add the flour and salt. Mix with fork until combined. Add in cubed butter and break up into flour with a fork. Mixture will still have lumps about the size of small peas. Gradually, add the ice water and continue to mix until the dough starts to come together. You may not need all of the water, but if the dough is too dry, then add more. The dough should not be very tacky or sticky. Work the dough together with your hands and turn out onto a surface. Work into a ball and cover with cling wrap. Refrigerate. Peel the apples, then core and slice. In a bowl, add the sliced apples, sugar, flour, salt, cinnamon, nutmeg, and the juice from the lemon. Mix until combined and all apples are coated. Refrigerate. Preheat the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius. On a floured surface, cut the pie dough in half and roll out both halves until round and about 1/8 of an inch or 3 millimeters thick. Roll the dough around the rolling pin and unroll onto a pie dish, making sure the dough reaches all edges. Trim extra. Pour in apple filling mixture and pat down. Roll the other half of the dough on top. Trim the extra dough from the edges and pinch the edges to create a crimp. Make sure the edges are sealed together. Brush the pie with the beaten egg and sprinkle with the sugar. Cut 4 slits in the top of the pie to create a vent. Bake the pie for 50 to 60 minutes or until the crust is golden brown and no grayish or undercooked pastry remains. Allow to cool completely before slicing. Serve and enjoy. I hope you enjoyed your slice of pie. Born in Boston in 1706, a founding father and a polymath, inventor, scientist, printer, politician, and diplomat, Ben Franklin helped to draft the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution, and he negotiated the 1783 Treaty of Paris, ending the Revolutionary War. In 1758, he wrote the essay, Way to Wealth, which was a compilation of adages and advice or proverbs found in Poor Richard's Almanac during its first 25 years of publication. So, one of these proverbs was the following: For the want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For the want of a shoe, the horse was lost. For the want of a horse, the rider was lost. For the want of a rider, the battle was lost. For the want of a battle, the kingdom was lost. And all for the want of a horseshoe nail. The essence of this proverb dates back to at least the late 14th century in English and to the early 13th century in German. Possibly the earliest use is found in the work of Friedank, an early 13th century didactic poet, that is, a writer of poems intended to teach. And he is thought to have lived somewhere around Swabia in Bavaria, which was part of the German kingdom. That's the operative word, kingdom, at the time. So his version of this proverb sounds something like this. The wise tell us that a nail keeps a shoe keeps a horse keeps a knight who can fight keeps a castle. The earliest reference in English is by John Gower in the late 14th century in his expansive poem Confessio Amantis, The Lover's Confession, and Gower was a contemporary and friend of Geoffrey Chaucer. So it's safe to say that his Middle English version of the expression would be almost as unintelligible to most modern readers of English as Friedang's Germanic version is. Where things get really confusing is where the proverb, in its modern form, including the reference to a lost kingdom, originated. And many sources point out to it being a reference to Richard III of England's defeat at the Battle of Bosworth Field in 1485. But there is a bit of a hole in that from an historic perspective, since Richard's horse didn't lose a shoe, but got stuck in the mud. Maybe we have Shakespeare to thank for the introduction of the concept of the loss of the kingdom due to the loss of the horse. A horse is a horse. My kingdom for a horse, says Richard III, Act 5, Scene 4. More quotes from Ben Franklin? Yes, but not now, and I will dedicate more time to him in future videos. I called it the fight song, but the official title is The Hymn of the United States Marine Corps. The lyrics were penned by an unknown soldier in the 19th century, but the music saw its origins in the Gendarme duet in a revised Jacques Offenbach comic opera, Geneviève de Brabant in Paris. What is also a most interesting snippet is that across the pond, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, who was an ardent admirer of the United States Marine Corps, enjoyed entertaining his guests with a recitation of all verses of the hymn without any prompting. So here it is, the hymn of the United States Marine Corps. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land, and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. Our flags unfurled to every breeze, from dawn to setting sun. We have fought in every clime and place where we could take a gun. in the snow of far-off northern lands and in sunny tropic scenes. You will find us always on the job, the United States Marines. Here's health to you and to our Corps, which we are proud to serve. In many a strife we fought for life and never lost our nerve. If the Army and the Navy ever looked on heaven's scenes, they will find the streets are guarded by United States Marines. And speaking of founding fathers, here are a few quotations by the first President of the United States, George Washington. Government is not reason. It is not eloquent. It is force. Like fire, it is a dangerous servant and a fearful master. Experience has taught us that it is much easier to prevent an enemy from posting themselves than it is to dislodge them after they have got possession. And when the freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led, like sheep, to the slaughter. Another quote: "Be Americans. Let there be no sectionalism, no north, south, east, or west. You are all dependent on one another and should be one in union. In one word, be a nation. Be Americans. And be true to yourselves." The time is near at hand, which must determine whether Americans are to be free men or slaves. And a final quote by President Washington: "However political parties may now and then answer popular ends, they are likely in the course of time and things to become potent engines by which cunning, ambitious, and unprincipled men will be enabled to subvert the power of the people and to usurp for themselves the reins of government, destroying afterwards the very engines which have lifted them to unjust dominion." With the outpouring of human beings nationally and worldwide facing a paradigm shift of challenges, of disparities and economic and racial injustice, here's a hopeful and well-known ubiquitous rallying cry called the Black National Anthem that rallies our positive voices to affirm that our lives matter and we shall overcome. It is a poem that was written by James Weldon Johnson, an American author and diplomat. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet, with a steady beat, have not our weary feet come to the place for which our Father sighed? We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come, treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered, out from the gloomy past, till now we stand, at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, Thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path, we pray, lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe and hit the like button. Also, share your comments about this week's video in the comment section. And what topics would you want to hear in the future? Also, click on the bell icon on your right to get the latest videos when I upload them. So, see you soon.